What's going on, you guys? petplatypus here, and it's time to talk about Gurren Lagann episodes 24 and 25. Okay, so episode 24, starting off with that one, I'm gonna have to step on a few toes right now because this has been a problem with Gurren Lagann for a while, the characterization and development and fucking screen time of a lot of these supporting characters, but I didn't give a shit. I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't give a shit about their deaths. Like, I kinda did a little bit for some of the characters that it affected. Like, I liked Simone kind of just having to stand by and wait for all of this to happen and just bottle it all up. Like, that's a great setup. Like, the setup for this episode, with him being stuck for 10 minutes while everyone out there is sacrificing themselves and the anti-spiral is just throwing this huge onslaught at them. The setup is great. It's fantastic, but where the episode really should shine, where it should really count, where what should make this episode spectacular are these character deaths and how shocking and sad they should be, and they're not. They're not because these characters just did not get enough screen time for me to care about them. They didn't get enough development or characterization or even proper introductions. Two of them I didn't even remember existed at all. I'm almost convinced they just got introduced because I had no idea or any memory of them at all. The only thing I took away from them is that one dude has blue hair and the other dude sounds like a side character from Jak and Daxter. A side character who, I might add, gets more screen time in Jak and Daxter than in this show. And you can do this. Like, you can have a character that's only there for a few episodes to leave an impact. Kamina is only there for the first 8 episodes of the series. Fantastic character, really sad to see him go. These other characters had way more time, and I'm not saying I don't care about any of the supporting characters. I care about Keaton, I didn't want to see him die. Yoko, didn't want to see her die. I was actively nervous about them living or dying in this episode after seeing these other characters die, but these characters didn't care. Honestly, if I was watching One Piece and fucking Luffy's straw hat burned in front of him, I would be sadder. I mean, or even another example from One Piece that actually happened, the Going Merry's funeral. I teared up watching that. I'll tear up watching an anime. It can pull on my strings and I can get invested like that and tear up. It's happened plenty of times, but this, no, not for these characters. Did not care enough. They went out cool. You know, the twins went out saving the kids like badasses, but didn't care about them, you know. The other two dudes ran out of ammo and went out in a blaze of glory. Didn't care about them. That one chick's husband attacked the missile. Didn't care. Just not enough screen time for these characters. Don't remember their names. Nothing. Just didn't. Nothing. I'd care more if Rossio died, and not in a good way. I'd kind of maybe be happy, but that's better than not feeling anything at all, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. And if you hate me for that, because you love Gurren Lagann, you know, whatever, but I just didn't care about these characters dying. Is it kind of shocking? Yeah, it's a little shocking that a lot of these characters died, but characters have died before, so it's not that surprising. I guess not a lot of major characters outside of Kamina have died, but still, I don't know, and I'm not sure what kind of impact this is going to leave since the series is almost over. So it's hard for me to even objectively say, oh, this was a big deal story-wise because character development and blah, blah, blah. I mean, maybe. There are still a few more episodes, so maybe some character development, but I don't know. I just didn't feel anything. But the animation was still great. Music was good. It is surprising to see these characters go out. They did go out in cool ways. The setup of the episode is so phenomenal, with Simone just having to sit back and just take it all in as it's happening in front of him. So it's not a bad episode. I still think it's easily like a 7.5. But the issue of their bad characterization really rears its head in this episode, and I can't give it much higher than a 7.5, calling it good. Had a good cliffhanger with the ocean and all that shit in space, you know. And they're going into that shit. They're going into that shit with the ring and the dimension bullshit and the universes, that shit that they totally glossed over, so that's another issue. But yeah, I don't know. It's still a fine episode of the series. It's still good, as much as I can rag on these characters and how little I cared about them dying. It is still a good episode, but I didn't personally love it. I don't think it was as phenomenal as not nearly as phenomenal as it could have been if I had cared about these characters. That would have been crazy heartbreaking and crazy awesome from a writing standpoint, but they didn't do it, and 26 episodes is not an excuse. There's characters from JoJo that have only been around for barely any episodes that I cared more about when they died. One Piece, like I said, a fucking boat. You know, the boat that didn't really start getting characterization until the arc that it fucking got burned in. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It can be done. It's not impossible. It was just handled poorly in this case. But with all that being said, 7.5, like I said, it is still a good episode of the series. Let's move on to episode 25. Okay, so episode 25. I'm sorry, I wanted this video to come out yesterday. I recorded the episode 24 part, not last night, but the night before last, and I was supposed to record this part, episode 25, yesterday morning, but stuff happened, got busy, didn't want that really long stretch of lack of videos. I'm really sorry about that, but if it's worth anything, I did want this video out yesterday. I just didn't have time to record this part. But anyways, and before I get into the episode, I suppose I should just mention that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild review is in the works. I beat the game and I'm still fucking playing it, of course, but that is coming, so look forward to that, I suppose. It's going to be a tricky one to review because it's such a massive game, and do I talk spoilers, you know? And of course, I do want to do other Dragon Ball discussions about the other tournament fighters and stuff like that. But anyways, episode 25 of Gurren Lagann. First thing I gotta mention before I forget, Buddha, amazing. Just 11 out of 10 for Buddha right there. Just that moment when he came in all good conscience, could not forget that moment. If I made this review and forgot, that would really suck. So I just want to get that out of the way right away. He was awesome. I don't feel that this is an ass pull, because spiral energy is based off of willpower. And if the little pig mole has that much willpower, I mean, who are you to question it? It's not a matter of like, oh, he has so much, you know, like from Dragon Ball, oh, this little pig mole has so much chi. Or like Naruto, like, oh, this pig mole has so much chakra. Like, it's not something weird like that. It's just straight up willpower being turned into energy. So I'm not going to complain. And I've always loved Buta. He's animated really cool. He has a great design. He's funny. He's cute. The name's awesome. He's just a really cool little dude. So it was really awesome to see him come in and save the day like that. Super badass. Super badass. Would have been nice if he'd maybe come in a little earlier when everyone else was dying to like get that spiral energy charging. Or maybe it would have taken the same amount of time. I don't know. But either way, that happened. And now for the next big part of the episode. Just going to dive right into it. Keaton. You see, that's how you do it right. Didn't cry or anything, but that's how you do it right, Gurren Lagann. Last episode, everything I said I still stand by, but this episode did it right. You took a character who, once again, I've always been calling him Diet Kamina. I didn't start calling him Keaton until literally the last few episodes, like since like whenever he tried to punch Rossiu, is when I started calling him Keaton, because he felt like more of a character, and he felt a lot cooler and more likable, and he's been that way ever since then. In just a handful of episodes, he's become one of my favorites, and you kill him off, and boom, there, you were clearly capable of doing this, so why didn't you do this with all these other supporting characters to make the last episode just spectacular in every way, instead of just me kind of being like, they died. You know what I mean? Like, it was way better here. And Keaton went out like a badass, like a boss, just so awesome. And of course, I mean, as tempting as it may be, dudes need to stop kissing Yoko, because as soon as you kiss Yoko, you're fucked. And not in the way you think. You're just fucked out of life, and it's just not good. You just don't do that. Again, tempting, yes, she's got that outfit, even though I think it looks stupid, I'm getting used to it. I'm not really used to it, I'm just sort of ignoring it, I guess. I don't know. It is still really silly, but yeah, he kisses her, and then he dies, and I don't know if that's the writers trying to say she has a kiss of death as like an in-joke or anything. I have no idea, but it is weird that he did that, and then he gets killed off literally minutes later. I'm not blaming Yoko at all. It's not like that. It's just sort of like a writer's thing, because there really was no reason for him to kiss her, honestly. Of course, none of those other dudes kissed her, so it's just a joke anyways. That really does suck that Keaton died, but like I said, he went out like a boss. It was really cool, really good animation, even though they did sort of reuse the Giga Impact stock footage, or bank animation, I think it's called. They did replace it with, you know, they reanimated it a little bit and replaced it with his gunman, so it still ended up looking really, really good. We also get some insight into the anti-spiral versus spiral race wars. We see a bunch of Logons that have been destroyed, and it's like a little graveyard inside of this ocean of space, because it's super condensed space that turned into ocean, which probably makes no fucking sense realistically, but fucking Gurren Lagann can make up its own rules. That's a cool concept, and yeah, seeing all the Logons there and the Anti-Spiral doing their usual hope, despair, fucking blah blah thing. Yeah, they've been doing it for the last few episodes, nothing too special there, but it was cool to see all those Logons and sort of get a taste of the history of the war. Like, yeah, you guys ain't nothing, yeah, you have a Logon, but look how many we've beaten, you're nothing. And of course Simone just takes it like a challenge and just fucking pushes through. And then Keaton, and then... was it called Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann? I forget what it was called. It's not a galaxy-sized Gurren Lagann yet, because that will happen later, so that's kind of confusing. But, that being said, still really fucking big, and Simone has this really epic speech coming in with the fucking Super Galaxy fucking Gurren Lagann, just moon-sized, really badass. That's the end of the episode. So, great character death. Handled really well, cared about the character a lot, really sucks to see him go, really good animation throughout the episode, good sound design, great like insight into the anti-spiral war, creative stuff with space, even if it was really weird. Buta was amazing, Simone's speech at the end and finishing everything, so there's story progression there because they finally got the moon base transformed fully and everything, so it was a pretty great episode. Definitely a solid 9 to 10 out of 10, honestly. I don't know if it quite hits that 11. I mean, the Buddha moment does, so maybe this is like an honorary 11 out of 10 episode, but that's just because I love Buddha and I'm kind of joking anyways, but it's still a great moment for his character, if you want to call him a character. And, yeah, I don't know, it was just a really fun episode, except for, you know, but even then it was still really enjoyable. Like, I was almost not tearing, I didn't tear up, but I sometimes... when I'm watching something, if it's really epic, I'll tear up while watching it just because of the sheer epic that's going on. Not even if it's, like, sad, per se. If it's just really fucking awesome. And that almost happened for both sadness and for how epic it was, what Keaton was doing. So, yeah, it's close to an 11 out of 10 episode, but I think I want to give it a 10. I'll see what happens in the next couple episodes. If the next couple episodes aren't as good as this one for me personally, then it's probably an 11. But yeah, that'd be like the only Gurren Lagann episode to get an 11 out of 10. Maybe, I'm not sure. But that was an important death, and it did mean more to me as an audience member, so that does give it a lot of points. So at the very least, this episode is definitely a 10 out of 10. Nothing really wrong with this episode. The way it was executed was perfectly fine, except for kissing Yoko. It does seem a little weird that... I mean, don't get me wrong, I can understand having the hots for Yoko, but it just seemed a little weird that Keaton, like, did that at the end, you know? Like, it wasn't, like, a major romance between the two characters. I don't really think it was built up much, so... I don't know. That's, like, nitpicking, though. Bottom line is, it's a great episode. But what do you guys think of these episodes of Gurren Lagann? You can go ahead and tell me in the comments section below. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. Click that little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.